we'll talk about designing with type in Photoshop now. So I'm going to create a file that's based in inches. Again, in case I want to print student work, this is for elementary school, and I'm going to make this file, again, 7 by 5 inches at 150 pixels per inch. And in this case, I actually am going to start with a white background.
Okay.
If you did want to use a colored background, you could actually click the custom and pick a color. So maybe I want a blue background, not a white background. It's up to you. Now it's going to be blue. All right, so here we go. Now I'm going to click create, and I have the beginning of my design file. I don't need the timeline open anymore. In fact, I'm going to go back to workspace and reset my main space. Again, workspace and reset main space. Great.
Okay, that was a lot. Sorry. That was okay.
No worries, just a new document, 5 by 7 at 150
So I'm good
pixels
here.
per
Just
inch.
create,
Yep,
And then, okay. All right, workspace
workspace.
and reset main.
Yes, reset your main workspace.
Got it. Yep. Perfect.
You're good. Background, I want to talk about typography in Photoshop. Here is the type tool in Photoshop, and you can see that the first tool is what's called the horizontal type tool. This is the tool you probably want to use most of the time. The vertical type tool, I don't have many occasions to make type go up and down. These other two are mask tools, which are helpful but less important than the first two. The first one is really the main type tool. So it's the horizontal type tool. When you choose this tool, this is a huge tip I can give you. It's a very good idea before you start typing to look up here. What font am I about to use? Because if you choose the font first, it will make your pain less. So here I will use something that everyone probably has, which is Impact. So I start typing IM, and now I have Impact. And then I look at the size before I start typing. I'll make it bigger than I think I need it, 18, and here I'll make it white. So all of those are settings I would do first before I start to type. And again, it's this tool is the type tool. And when I click, it is going to fill it in with something. That's a setting. That's the placeholder text.
Okay.
So try that much. All right, so I'm going to double click, actually triple click to select. If you double click, you get one word. If you triple click, you get a sentence.
Oh.
The sentence is 2 words right now.
Fun.
Okay, and now here, if I click up in this field, it says 18. I can use the up arrow on my keyboard to increase the font size. And then I'm going to type the new type that's going to say, again, I want to stop that. Movie night. And then I'm going to hit a return is back. And you can see that my word back and is back are cramming into the movie night text. And that is because I need to make some adjustments in the character. So if you would go to Window and open up your character panel.
Oh, look at those fun things.
So we're going to talk about the concepts of headline, subhead, and body copy. Also, some type terms as we are starting to look at those now, such as this, which is called line height, also more traditionally known as leading, or the negative space between lines. So if I click here, you'll notice that the character size is 33, but I selected where it says 19, that's the line height or the leading. And if I use the up arrow here, I should see, and it doesn't seem to be moving, but I think it is moving if I click. It's very slowly. I can hold shift and do up arrow, and it's not moving at all. It's really ridiculous. I guess I wasn't selected. It had to be selected. My bad. So up arrow, there we go. Movie night is back. So the arrow keys. Okay, but you can choose. If it's on auto, but you might want to choose sometimes. You want it to look groovier, like this is more chill and exciting. Okay, movie night is back. So that's the first piece of text. piece of text is going to be the name of the movie and then the date. So we're going to do the name of the movie next. So I'm going to make a new piece of type. So I'm going to take the type tool again. And this is an important trick. When you're making a new piece of type, don't click too close to the first piece of type. Make sure you give it some distance, even if you're going to move it up, because it's very likely that it will attach to the first piece of text. I'm going to click here. There's the second piece of text. And I'll make this type smaller, and then while it's still selected, I'll pick another font here, and I'll pick something like fun, and I'm going to do Wall-E. That's the movie we're going to have for movie night. Wall-E. This doesn't seem to have a dash in the font because I'm typing a dash and nothing is happening. And then E. And I think that's how you spell it, but that could be incorrect. And for this letter, this is also going to happen. You may not have a character for just this one letter. I have selected it. And I'm going to change the font just for that one letter so I can get the dash. And I'll have to pick something like Arial. There's the dash. Say, dash. Oh, I saw you there. Then you went away. So here, Arial. So just the dash sometimes, or a letter, won't be there because it's a special fancy font. So that's the name of the movie we're going to have. Wall-E. Is that how you spell it? Wall-E? Okay. And I'll make that yellow. So if the type is selected, double click on the type element, you can change the color. Wall-E. And there's my beautiful type element, Wall-E. Movie name, Wall-E. And also what's great, just look on screen for a second here, is you can actually click on a corner and drag the text to make it bigger. Wall-E. Now, these are posters for school, so some of the rules in graphic design I wouldn't be very strict about, such as only using 3 fonts or 2 fonts at the most. I would, it's a kid's poster. So I might have it say like the 6th grade presents Wall-E, a benefit for the spring camping trip. That kind of a thing. So there's the first 2 pieces. Again, I click the type tool. I click the font I want. This one is called Shine. It's for personal use. And again, click far away, and then I'll type presents. And double click it, and I'll make this black. And then I'll move it. I do it like that because you have a question, ask your question.
So how do I get the line, like I tilted this one?
Sure. Oh, okay. So here I have this text selected. I already changed this value, but I'm going to put it back. So 100. And then here, if I click between these 2 letters, you can see I have a value in here of 50. I'll put that at 0 also. So triple click, just make sure that, or double click to select that word. And here I'm going to do what's called a tracking value. And this value is set a little higher than 100. It's at 90. Here's what it looks like. It's 0. And again, if I click here in this tracking field, this is to put space between all the letters of a word or a sentence or even a paragraph. If I want to do it between just 2 individual characters, I need to click a single click in between those characters and then up arrow, and I'm increasing what's known as the kerning. So this value here is called kerning, and this value here is called tracking. Stacking order can become very important here, so whether something is behind or in front. We'll talk about that in a moment. So here we are looking at the stacking order, and right now I do have this in the order I want it to, which is the word presents is on top of the Wall-E.
Oh.
But if I wanted it different, I could change the stacking order of the text. So movie night is actually behind everything because I created it first. What you create will be under the next thing. Then I created the Wall-E text, and then I actually created the presents, but I moved it. I had it down here somewhere, and I moved it up. So be aware of that. And then to rotate this text, I'm going to rotate this word that says presents and drop it there. And now an important tip, okay? I want to create here a circle, but I want it to be on its own layer. These are all text layers except for the background. So I need to make a new layer. I want it, right now it will go on top of the stack. Click, there it is. The Wally logo actually has a red circle around the E. So if I make a circle holding the shift key, and then because I'm still on the selection tool, I can use the arrow keys to position it. I can see that it's going to run right into the dash, which is why I was telling you about the kerning here. So I'm going to make the red circle. This is just a circle. So there's red. And then Option Delete to fill it. Then deselect. And I'll bring it down underneath the Wally text. Cool. It looks okay, except the E is messed up. That's not right. The E has to be positioned centered on top of the circle. And if I move the whole text line, I'm going to get the dash hitting there. So this is, again, a chance to look at this setting for kerning. And again, my character panel is this one right here. And I will click to increase this value more to move the E over on top of the circle.
Or you could fuss with the circle too, right?
But then it would hit the
But then it's gonna
dash.
hit the dash.
I don't want it to hit the
Okay,
dash because
yeah.
that is not
What
correct.
does that capital T with the little arrows underneath it do in your character box? Not that one. The one
This?
next. The one
To the
to the right.
This
That one.
distorts the text. I'll look at it.
Distorts
Yeah, distorts. Now, some people like that. You know, in design school, we try to avoid doing that. But there's times when you need to do that. So here, these are all distort tools. This will distort it horizontally. So it's stretching the text, which makes me want to show you something else. So here we go. Here's this thing. The text is selected, and I want to bend the text. There's a tool in here called the enveloping text envelope. So I would go to type. I can do this thing called warp text. You will love it. Watch this. Warp text, and then I get some styles. And here I'll make it into the flag or the rise. Here's flag versus rise. Oh yeah. Okay. So even with flag or wave, the wave is good, but you can adjust these sliders.
And warp text was.
And it's here under type, warp text.
Okay, there's an arc and then there's an arch.
Yeah, they're different. You'll see. Try them. Do it, undo it, redo it. And then body text. So again, my recommendation is make sure nothing is selected. Then take your type tool. Check your settings before you type. This time I'll just type in some regular old Arial text. Maybe Arial bold. And then I'll make a box. This is called area text. Okay, that was, again, here I'll get rid of that piece. Trash it. And if you take a text, instead of just clicking, again, it's nice to check your size so they don't have to change it afterwards. So I'll make it 18 this time. And when I make a box, I think I have my present text selected, which I didn't realize. That's why you want to make sure you click away before you start making text. And then there's a text box. Oop, 23, that seems large. I'll put it on 14. Now nothing changed because nothing's selected. And click and drag out a box and it will fill it with placeholder text at the last font I used. And I wanted Arial and I wanted bold. And then I have this ridiculously long, high amount of line height. So I'm reducing the line height. Reducing the line height. Reducing the font size. And now it looks like it's all stretched out. That's this value here of this 120. So I'll put it back on a normal value of 100. And if you want it to be less, here I make it 90. and line height still looks very high. Make it less, and then maybe it's too small. So I would recommend you get used to this arrow keys in here. It's a lot easier than trying to jump to pick a number, and then we'll say the 6th grade need your help. Come to our movie night and help us fund our spring camping trip. And then spring, S-P-R-I-N-G, camping. Okay, here I'm going to click and do a return. Okay, select the text, change the color, and make it white. Now, it's going to be hard to get the kids to not do this. That's not really the best way to put space between lines, paragraphs. A better way to do that is by using what's called the paragraph tools. Okay, so now we have the character and the paragraph. And here I'll click our, and here I'll put ellipsis, ... And there's a hard return here. So I go backspace and then return. I know that's a true return. And there's a setting right here, and it's actually for spacing after a paragraph. And if I do the up arrow here, it should be pushing that down. And what didn't I do? Didn't select it.
You gotta select.
I have to select it. So this is
All of-
space
that'll
after.
affect all
There are
of
2
your whole
paragraphs.
paragraph. Yeah.
Every time here, I'll put something there, 2. There. Now it's actually wherever I have a hard return. Now look, this is now a soft return. That's shift return. And this is a hard return. Now it's a soft return.
Just hitting return by itself is a hard return.
A hard return.
And then shift return
Is a soft return.
Oh,
Okay.
I never knew about soft and hard returns.
And now you do. Right? So, how much are we going to charge? Tickets
$5.
And there's free popcorn.
are
Right?
5.
If there's snacks, they will come.
They will come. $5, including. I did a hard return there. Tickets are $5. Soft return, including a large popcorn. And now here, select this text, change the color. And then maybe this tickets are $5. Text should be bigger. And I have really, like I mentioned, watching others is really probably the best way to learn some of these type things. And then here there should be a different spacer here. So this is a hard return, I believe. And if you're not sure, you can go delete, and then that's a hard return. And I believe if I click here, I should be able to now increase the height on that one hard return only.
Look at that.
So that's the more pro way of doing it. And so it might be hard to get them to do that. Like 2 kids, you'll be able to get them to do that. Okay, and then here maybe you change the color of that. It's really hard to read. And then the date and all that other stuff.
Like that.
Since we're getting short on time, I'm just going to show you this other thing here. I'm going to click on the background layer.
Especially these kids.
I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to create a rectangle
Right.
here. And I'm going to fill this with white. But I'm going to not have it be 100%. Remember, layers. So now
Oh, look at that.
it looks groovy. And then, because this is just a layer here, I want to maybe make it cooler looking. And I can like select some of that and chop it. And select some of this and chop it. And my hand is stuck. Doesn't want to move. Okay, there we go. Chop it. and just to have fun with it, right? I need to put the date, but I didn't do it. And then finally here, I already have the Wally thing here. Got Wally, and copy image, flip back over, paste it, Command V, it's way too big, Command T, for sizing it, looks like it has a big white panel around it. So we'll have to cut that out, so I'll move it to the center. Oh, it better go to the top, so I probably should cut it. Can I cut it? Is it too late? Okay, I'll move it to the top. And then marquee rectangle, click and drag and scoot over to there. And then probably don't have to worry about this part, but there. And then I'll move it.
So what are you doing right there? You
Um,
you drag, what?
Rectangle tool,
Yeah, but what are you,
delete key.
oh, delete key, okay.
And now, again, maybe I want this to be lower. And then move tool, V for the move tool. Move this over. Looks great, right? What else? The Wally, everything looks pretty good. I might want to crop it. This is the crop tool. And I can make the whole document smaller. If I need to make the Wally, the circle, Wally and the circle smaller, they're both selected. Control T. Okay, and then back to the move tool, and then here's the presents. And make that larger. It's not making it larger, it's just moving it. Get on the corner. Da, 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 da. So putting panels, like I did here with this panel, Command T, I can stretch this panel, are a really great way to make the type look easier to read. And here it looks like he should be above the white panel. So lastly, I would say, just to make this look a little groovier here, I'll put a little red seam on this side here. I don't think I'm a great designer. I think I'm a good designer. But there's some people that are just amazing. I'm good. I'm okay. But you look at a lot of design work, like kids movie poster. Might not find a kids movie poster design, but you might be for a kids movie. Kid,
Movie posters designed by kids?
right? Movie posters designed by kids. And now you can see if we go to images, we probably won't, maybe will. But you can see like the difference between, let's see. These are all looking really good. But, use examples. What makes a well-designed poster? What makes an amateurish looking thing versus something that looks more professional? What are the aspects of this? Different sizes of type, single illustration, negative space, not trying to fill the entire thing up. This is kind of looks like a nice little template there. That's kind of fun. And lots of reference, looking at a lot of work all the time will help you immensely. Just keep on looking and keep on inspiring yourself so that you can make it easier for you to inspire your kids. Here's an official Pixar movie poster.